Hi everyone, I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous. And here's her story. Dear Ollie, thank you so much for all you are doing for narcissistic survivors. You are truly saving lives. We were all told we were crazy. The abuse is horrific and the outcome is everlasting. Here is my story. My parents had me at 19 years old. My father worked at a supermarket and dealt cocaine in the 80s. My mother worked in sales and made pretty good money. She left my dad after she came home and found him with another woman in her bed, from what she has told me. My father was the life of the party, drove flashy cars, wore flashy jewelry and clothes from as long as I could remember. When my parents broke up, my dad rarely saw me. My mother raised me in kind of a militant fashion. I was always well dressed, but was expected to behave perfectly at a young age. She was always working, from what I recall, and was with my grandparents a lot. I saw my dad a few days throughout the year, mostly Christmas, and if his mother took me to see him at his fancy house. His grandmother, his mom, or I'm sorry, my grandmother, his mom, would shame him into seeing me, saying, I remember her calling him, saying, I have her, I'm bringing her over. Him making some excuse and her saying, I'm bringing her over at this time. When he made plans to pick me up himself, he either didn't show up or would come 3 hours late. I remember staring at the clock. So this went on until I was about 13. Saw my dad about 3 times a year. I began rebelling at 13, fighting with my overbearing, controlling mom. My stepdad, since age of 3, started yelling in my face, trying to hit me, and my mom got in between us. We were yelling at each other. He didn't speak to me for years after that. He'd walk into a room I was in, such as the kitchen, and he wouldn't look at or talk to me, but I got his hostile message loud and clear. At 14, mom and I got into another huge power struggle yelling match, and I yelled at her that I wanted to go live with my dad out of anger. I always saw my dad as this bright, shiny person I idolized but could not reach. I didn't know him at all, but could not stand my controlling mother and silent treatment stepdad. I think I was testing my mom by saying I wanted to live with my dad to see if she would try to stop me, since I felt unloved and unwanted in her home. She packed my stuff in black garbage bags and drove me straight to my dad's house and said, "You're going to have to take her now." I moved in with my dad and stepmom and their baby. I was treated as a house slave. I was constantly cleaning the entire house like Cinderella, barely had time for homework, so my grades started dropping. Took care of the baby so my flamboyant life of the party dad could go out and drag his wife along on weekends. I loved that baby, though he was my only light during those hard times. Also, I had to take the bus and walk super far to school. When I got there, my shoes and jeans were full of mud up to my knees when it rained. Same deal coming home from school. When I finally got home from my long journey, my dad was just walking up, having coffee in the early evening. He worked nights at the supermarket. I seen him I seen him counting wads of cash and putting them into manila envelopes one day, and he begged me not to tell anyone what I saw, so I didn't. Then the physical abuse began. My dad choked me up against the wall one day because I gave him attitude. Another time, my shorts were apparently too short, so as I was walking up the stairs, my dad kicked me so hard I fell down the steps. He would tell me he was going to beat me with a phone book so no one could see the bruises. Never quite understood that threat. I got the same one as well. I don't know why, because my mother just beat the shit out of me regardless, but it was this thing about getting hit with phone books because it doesn't leave bruises. One time the phone rang One time the phone rang, one of his avid admirers, and I knocked on his door to the bathroom. The door was cracked open, so I assumed he was dressed, brushing his teeth or something. So I called his name and peeked in to give him the phone. He yelled at me, calling me a freak, and threw a robe on, chased me down, and kicked me in my back. I fell down crying, having no idea what just happened and what I did wrong. Next, he became a cop for more prestige. I had a boyfriend I met at school. I rebelled against my dad. I rebelled against my dad, cut class, etc. I started to live with my mom again mid-year, basically left my dad's and didn't call him ever again. So lived with dad for 2 years lived with my dad for 2 years of his, then lived with my mom the last 2 years of high school. Okay, I lived with my dad the first 2 years of high school, then lived with my mom the last 2 years of high school. I missed my curfew when I was a senior in high school, so my mom kicked me out of the house and changed the locks. So wait a minute, your father became a cop they had you at 19 and what are you, 14 to 16 here? So what was he, in his mid-30s when he became a cop after dealing drugs out of the supermarket? It's not exactly all that surprising, to be honest with you. I missed my curfew when I was a senior in high school, so my mom kicked me out of the house and changed the locks. I was homeless, so my friend's parents took me in until I finished high school under the notion I'd go live with my dad when I graduated high school. Oddly, they knew my dad personally, and my friend and I were unaware of this at first. Prior to this, I was sleeping in my friends' houses, cars, etc., while still in high school. After I graduated high school, I went to go live with my dad, working and going to college. Now I had another baby sibling I loved caring for, and my precious one as well. I got together with my boyfriend I had previously and moved in with him and his mom right away. I got pregnant with my daughter at 18. This boyfriend was physically abusive as well, and when my daughter was born, I left him to live with my mom. My mom kicked me out of her house, but said I couldn't take my daughter because I didn't have a car, so she could stay at my mom's, and it would be selfish of me to take her since my life was going to be hard, being young, poor, with no transport, etc. So I let my daughter stay with my mom, but saw her frequently. She was 4 years old and disabled. P.S. I think my mom was being manipulative and wanted my daughter as her own to this day. My daughter calls my mother mom and me mama, which kicks me. Fast forward, my daughter is 15, still lives with my mom. Father has little to do with me. I see him about 3 times a year, mostly Christmas with my siblings. Mostly Christmas. My siblings are grown up living with him still. I have been talking to my stepmom more frequently and thought we would remember family from here on out, and he was ecstatic to talk to my siblings from time to time. Remember that baby I cared for so long ago? Anyway, I thought these people were starting to care about me. They never start to care about you. If they didn't care about you then, they don't care about you now. The narcissist never cares. Never. My stepmom said my dad was going to take her on a huge international trip. I asked my dad if the kids were going, and he said no, just him and his wife. Next thing you know, I call my stepmom to check in as per usual here and there. She tells me she leaves tomorrow to go on her trip. My dad chimes in the background, he's going to wear a Speedo. My stepmom said, please don't do that to the kids. I said, the kids are going. My stepmom, as if it was nothing, says yes. I am furious because they are taking this huge family international trip and no one invited me, actually lied to me about it. Why should I be surprised, though? They never invite me or my kids to any holidays, which they always host only Christmas. Only Christmas. I think it's It's the deceit that really gets me. I'm so hurt by my siblings. They're adults now and don't want much to do with me. They don't ask why their sister isn't invited to family functions. We went to a fair one time, and my dad saw a fellow cop friend introduced his young, beautiful kids. I was standing right there, and he didn't introduce me or my kids as if I didn't exist. I said, "Hello, I'm his other daughter. These are his grandkids." His friend looked uncomfortable and said, "I didn't know you had an older daughter." And I said, "And grandkids." Everyone nervously chuckled. People in his close circle don't even know I or my kids exist. I think he's embarrassed of me. I'm poor, don't dress well, chubby, etc. They live in their huge house in a high-class neighborhood, designer everything, fancy cars, etc. I want to go no contact because I'm sick of him hurting me and my siblings, not giving a shit about me. Even though I love them, I can't take the hurt anymore, especially from my siblings. That hurts the most. They're all a bunch of selfish, self-indulgent, evil monsters to see me being rejected, isolated, and not say shit to my dad. Do you think no contact is an appropriate way to go, including the siblings? That is the painful part that hurts the most. Anonymous. Yep. You know why they're erasing you? They had you at 19. He doesn't like the idea of having grandkids. You had a kid early as well. He wants to live this party boy lifestyle still. He doesn't like it. You're the narcissist's mistake that they wanted to erase because they had you young. You were probably an oopsie, had by mistake. And that's how you've been treated your whole life. You're the mistake. You're the mistake they wish they can erase. You're the mistake they want to go away. You and the whole family. You're it. Because they had you so young. They had you before they were ready. They didn't want you. They didn't love you. They just wanted you to go away because they were children. And they were children who never grew up. And to them, you're always just going to be the mistake that they would just like to go away. Now, going away, in this case, they might not actually care that much because in your father's eyes, that he doesn't have to show he has grandkids and have an older child because that shows how old he is, even though they had you at 19. This is what it's like to be the narcissist's mistake, the one they want you to go away. That's how they view you. That's how they're always going to view you. You will never win their love. Never. Not the way you want it. Because if by this point they still seeing you as that mistake that won't go away, with these big houses and fancy cars, and they're still treating you that way, then the way it's always going to be. They don't want you around. They don't want to be seen with you. They don't. I think they just don't want to have to explain you. They moved on with the other with other lives. But they used you, right? They used you like Cinderella. And that's what happens when you're the narcissist's mistake. So thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you for your story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, or you'd like to set up a Skype chat, have a phone call, have a private video made, Facebook chat, or you'd like to contribute to the channel or sponsor a video for someone who can't afford it, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. And if you're still unclear, wait for the instructional video link to pop up at the end of this video to walk you through all that. Please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been The Narcissistic Resistance. Bye.